Hi guys, it's Michelle Patterson with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading for the week beginning February 23rd, 2015. And this week I'm going to be using the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. And then of course I'm going to be pulling a card from the Secret Language of Color Oracle deck by Inna Segal. So let's get into it. Let's see what's going on here. Inner hunger. Inner hunger. There's something very interesting going on that I think will start sparking a lot of people onto a deep journey this week. Doesn't matter how far you are already on the journey, but we're seeing another stage of things falling away. So people, who have just always accepted their lives as they are going to start going, no, what do I really want? And just know that you don't need to become a rebel to get what you want. And I've seen this a lot of times where people suddenly, I'm going to give these a rest here for a second, suddenly want to break out, and they want to break out of their marriage, and they want to go have an affair, or they hurry up and leave their partner and they go off with somebody else. You don't need to take it that far, is what we're saying. It's an inner hunger that, if you're not careful, will express itself in very potentially even explosive ways outside of you if you do choose to go the rebel route. The rebel route would be sort of like, I've had it with this job and I'm blaming all of you for my choices, and I'm blaming all of you for me being unhappy. You're idiots. I'm cool. I'm out of here. Right? And then you drop the mic and you leave, right? So you don't need to get all crazy this week. I'm kidding. I don't know that. If you do that, oh my gosh, please just try to keep it in check, okay? So this inner hunger, they're even saying, making those big outward motions, it's not going to really help you with what is actually going on inside of you. For some of you, it's a call for healing. For others, it's a call to get honest with yourself. And that's how you end up in the situations that you do, because you're not being honest with what your true intentions are, what you really want out of life. If you're somebody who for years and years has been feeling like, oh, I want to get married, I want to get married, I want to get married. Well, maybe, and I use this example all the time, I realize, but maybe you really don't want to get married. Maybe you're only wanting to get married because you think that's what you're supposed to do, and if you don't, it means something, right? But maybe you like being on your own. Maybe you like having no vow or commitment to one other person, okay? Conversely, this inner hunger will probably spark something in you that says, I'm ready for my twin flame, or I'm ready for that real relationship. But you get honest with yourself this week. Something comes to the surface where you're like, that's why it's not happening, okay? I see it now. And it might be a pattern. It might be patterns of codependency. I mean, I've been bringing this up in a lot of personal readings because I had this mind-blowing experience. I was watching this interview and they were talking about codependency in a way, I always had kind of like this cheap meaning, like, I can't get along without you, you can't get along without me, and we can't be without each other's attention for 5 seconds, kind of thing. But it's so much bigger than that. It's expansive. And I would argue that a lot of light workers, or people who define themselves as such, are actually very codependent people. My name is Michelle Patterson, and I have codependent tendencies. The one-sided relationship, putting everybody's needs above your own, sacrificing what you want to be there for somebody else, right? Trying to heal people with addictions. How many of you out there have gotten into relationships where someone's addicted and you think you can save them because you're a light worker, because you have these healing abilities? We get that mixed up, don't we, with our human experience and with our journey. We get the whole idea of I'm here to help people awaken. That's my path. That's my duty. And now you take on somebody who's a project. And maybe it drains you. And maybe it keeps you from fulfilling your potential because you're constantly in their turmoil with them. So this will be a week where you start realizing some of this and you start going, okay, if I really want that kind of partner that I have been trying to manifest for forever, now I'm seeing why it's not happening. Now I'm seeing the block. For yet others, you might have, it's on the career front and health as well, where the health aspect feels more like you realize the energetic thing that's manifesting in a physical way. So you kind of clue in on that. And yet for others, you realize how you're coming off to others, how you're being perceived by other people, and why you're being perceived that way, right? You're going to see where you're projecting. You're going to see where people are projecting onto you. It's going to be this beautiful sort of like off vision thing. Like, it's not going to manifest. Everybody wants it to be in such a concrete way. It might not do this in a very concrete way, but you'll have a sense that you're seeing the real situation. But it might be about you, the real situation, and your blocks and things that just can't work for you anymore, and what you have to let go of if you're going to move forward. And you'll start piecing it together like, oh my gosh, now I realize the universe has been trying to tell me that for years, okay? And now you're finally in that place where you understand. Now, this does not mean that your life is going to change exponentially within the next week. It might not. But you definitely will have some nice discoveries if you are not one of those people who just keeps bumbling through life expecting for things to just dump in their lap and there's the solution. I mean, maybe it could happen that way, but that usually only happens when you are in touch with the flow of the universe, when you have all of your bodies sort of aligned and you can accept in the gifts from the universe. But if you're just somebody who's constantly living on the surface of life, yeah, this probably won't happen for you. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me get into the cards here. Yes? Hang on. Let me see what's going on here. Wow. These are major patterns breaking. Can you guys be clear? They're showing me. It's like a worldwide thing. So we might even see world events coming up next week where it's like, we're not taking it. And it's not, again, it's not invoking the rebel. It's seeing things for what they are, seeing like what the separation is. Okay, thank you. Seeing the separation, having a light bulb moment where you're kind of like, oh, okay. But it's going to reflect back on you because you're going to see your place in the world. You're going to see your place in the story or the delusion, however you choose to view that. Okay, and then from there you'll be able to make some educated guesses on how to move forward with your life now with all this new information. All right, so we got one card out. It's already anxiety. Now, this does not mean that this week has to be bad. This is just saying these are the things that are potentially blocking you from having everything that you want. I'm going to tell you guys, there's going to be a big glare off these cards. They're brand spanking new, so sorry. They're good cards, though. Oh, they're not good cards. Okay, wait a minute. All right, guys, you're going to have to come in here and help me out with this. What's going on here? Let me just tell you. We have anxiety, goddess of the moon, okay, door to romance, broken heart in the reverse. Now, with this author, she honors reversed cards. So I'm not going to go through and read the book. Obviously not. I use this to spark my own intuition, so I will give you the reading that is coming through me with these visuals. Okay, they're bringing me into goddess of the moon. Let's take it further. That's Haniel, okay? I know she could be the goddess of the moon, I suppose, but she's an archangel, yes? And she helps with the balance, the ebb and flow of energies. And we just had a full moon, or not a full moon, a new moon on the 18th. This is, you guys are teetering in this coming week, and everybody's going to be different. If you worry on things, and the number is 18, if you worry on things and you let things really get to you, then you're blocking out this beautiful introspective possibility that could unlock things for you, like romance. Okay, this seems to be very love centric this week. Okay, so this is actually saying, because you have anxiety maybe about who you are, or maybe you haven't done the inner work, you haven't done, because the moon is introspective, right? It's the divine feminine. You haven't balanced this, you haven't done this work. Number's 52 on that one, by the way, and it's 33, okay, on this one. Now you're blocking out romance. they're pointing out that in this card, there is a door to romance that opens, but the heart is in a cage with a big old lock on it. So you're making, oh gosh, it feels like push-pull. It's like you're making some steps forward. You're opening the door to love, and yet your heart is still locked away. So, and I'm going to talk about this last card here in just a second, but what a lot of us do is we kid ourselves. My heart's open. I'm ready for love. I can't tell you how many times people come to me and they want, you know, am I with my twin flame, or I am with my twin flame, or am I with my soulmate, and all this good stuff. Forget that stuff. Hang with me. Forget it, okay? Forget looking for a soulmate for just a minute. Forget even looking for a perfect love partner. You have to work through this week, and start it this week, this anxiety you have around you being you. And I think the energy of this week is going to help you, right? So there's going to be all this stuff coming up to the surface that kind of goes, okay, now I see. I see my patterns. I see my place in the world, like we already talked about. Okay, so that helps alleviate that. Then, see how this is starting to shift the story? Then you start doing the work, and you really start looking at, what do I still need to let go? What still needs to be healed? What are my belief systems about me and the people in this world? I'll tell you, up until very recently, I always felt like I had to watch out for other people. I know that's terrible, isn't it? But like being in New York City, for example, walking down the street, if someone would bump into me, I could feel them, and I could feel their energy. And if somebody was having a bad day, if they bumped into me, I mean, it would really affect me. I know it sounds crazy, but it did. I'm being very honest. And then I came into some recognition for myself, and I realized, you know, being defensive is my problem. You know, being defensive is drawing more of that into me, right? And if I have issues with my boundaries, what is that stemming from? Okay, and this is where it started getting deep. And it started going back and back and back and back and back until I pinpointed where it started from. It turns out there's a lot of other things attached to that, and now I'm working through that and working through that process of letting go. Because as most of you know, if you watch my channel, I'm opening up to a whole new existence. I'm opening up to this new phase of my life, and hopefully that will all be taking place by the end of this year. But in your situation, if you do this inner work, not only are you opening the door to love, but that cage, I can't tell if this cage is closed around that heart or not, but let's just say for our purposes here, that cage is flung open. There's not even a lock on that heart. It's just open and it's beaming, and you're attracting in love of all kinds. This does say door to romance. So yes, if you are looking for romantic love, this could be something that really happens for you if you let all that other stuff go, if you know that you deserve it, okay, and you're ready for it. You unlock that heart, you heal that heart. Yes, okay. They wanted me to point this out. I just got done recording the March 2015 videos, and I wanted to use the Archangel Raphael healing deck. Now, Raphael's not only the healing angel, he's also the angel of soulmates. So remember what I said, let that go. Let it go. But because when in the act of letting go, you finally get into that space of freedom, and you do the growing that you need to in order to attract the things that you want. Right? When we push and push and push down a direction that's not helpful for us, we actually push out the stuff that we're trying to work towards. But Raphael is saying, if you call me in, you call in the healing angels, you call us all in. We have this whole team of angels out there, and ascended masters, 33 ascended masters, okay, to come in. I'm just going to dwindle it down. It's self-realization, understanding your patterns, understanding where you're on lockdown, coming to a place. This can't all happen in a week. They're saying it could. For some of you, it could. Some of you are right there. Some of you are just doing that last little push, right? And then you'll be ready. But for others, they just want you to be very, very patient. Some of you have deeper things to work through, and it's okay. But the whole idea is that you're well supported in doing this. Now, I have the Broken Heart card in reverse. It's number 9. Okay, so this to me is saying, you come out of what I'm hearing is you come out of a pattern of expecting heartbreak. You alter your expectations, because this to me is an outcome card, that final card, okay? You start changing your mindset. Not every love partnership needs to end, okay, in failure. It might end, but you don't need to view it as a failure. It's something that's building you and it's helping you grow. And when you pull somebody in and you pay off your karma, it might end and you might go on, all right? But this is getting you out of the heartbreak mentality. And I feel like some of you are really trying to pull on the meaning of these cards. And okay, you know what we say, when you're listening to these readings, you always want to take what you feel is resonating with you. But if you're trying to assign this message to one particular situation, like let's say you did have a breakup and you see this heart, this broken heart in reverse, you might be like, he's coming back. I'm going to leave that up to you. These are not predictions, okay? This is soul level guidance, giving you a temperature of what might be coming up so that you can be prepared and you can utilize the energy to grow your soul. We're not trying to tell you what's going to happen in your life. Nobody can tell you what's going to happen in your life. Ta-da! Okay, you know why? Because you're creating it. All right? You have the soul contract. You have high points on your soul contract. But like I tell everybody all the time, how you get there is a wild card. So am I going to get back together with my boyfriend? I think you would be better served sitting down and asking yourself, why? Why do you want to? Did you work through all your lessons? Are you entering back into something, or are you being blind to some red flags? You know, these are all kinds of things that you have to sit down. It gets a little soupy, doesn't it? You have to sit down and be honest with yourself about that. But the bigger message here is you changing your mindset, changing the idea that you mess up every relationship. No, you don't. No, you don't. You've never messed up a relationship. Never. Oh, well, I did X, Y, and Z. No. On a soul level, you guys were done. Okay? That was just the little detail that made it split up. So maybe you did the relationship a favor. On a soul level, you knew that it was done and you had to move on. Okay? So there's the deeper message there. Let's get into the color cards. Let me get the deck here. And let's see what is coming up. Auburn, ground yourself. The number is 11. Another weird little thing that happened. Again, I just got done recording all the March. Wow. Okay, 11 is a master number. I just got done recording the March videos, and the overall message for everybody right from the top was make sure you are very grounded. That's interesting. Now we have ground yourself. All right. So some of you in the context, so there's that bigger message, but in the context of this sort of like love, heart-stirring kinds of things, if you start running away with fantasies, then you're chasing a phantom. Again, you know my jam. Sorry guys for the noise if that came up on the video. You might be chasing a phantom. You might be chasing something that you're over romanticizing in your head. And if you were to get it, you would be very disappointed with it. Now, again, the angels are coming in here right now and saying, we shield you from certain situations. So if you've been pining for somebody for a very long time and they're not doing something for you, doesn't mean that they don't love you. Doesn't mean that they don't have compassion for you or whatever. It just could mean that ain't supposed to happen. And we ain't going to let it happen. All right? I mean, they are looking out for you. So, gosh, when it comes to love, I don't know if I could ever have the right words to get people to understand. You'd be far better served working on yourself and giving yourself the love instead of chasing something and hoping to morph it into something that fits your dream. That's not how life works. And actually there are a couple of different categories of love. There is the conflict love, which people usually rather like. You know, that's the passionate hot love that everybody's like, yeah, the flame is there for a few months, and then when they start kind of equaling out their energies between one another, they're like, oh, the spark is gone. And then there's a more mature kind of love where you're not trying to change anybody. You come to the table as a whole, complete, self-loving being, willing and ready to open your heart space up to someone else who is also that kind of being. And now there's free flow, there's equilibrium between the two of you. Okay? So figure out what you want for real. And whatever you want, figure out why you don't have it. that's where you're at this week. Okay, guys? So we'll leave it at that. I am sending you so much love. I do want to say, if you want a personal reading, because I get these questions all the time, the website is always in the description box, and I usually attach it to each of the videos as well. But you can go to my website, www.angelsouls444.com, the services page. I will encourage you guys, as shifts and changes take place in the coming months, for me personally, I might have to change the wait time. So please be very aware of the wait time before you purchase the reading, okay? So just keep an eye on that. Please also read the instructions. Please make sure you know what you're getting into before you purchase the reading. I've had a couple of times just in the past few weeks where people have purchased a reading and then said, no, I don't want to know. I don't know. Can I have my money back? Once you purchase it, I'm under no obligation to give you a refund, okay? So just make sure that you know that you want a reading before you get it, okay? And also, I'm happy to announce that business is picking up quite a bit. So that's why maybe that 10-day waiting period, it might not be in effect for much longer. So just be aware of that, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm trying to ease you guys into this. So I will bring this up each week just to remind you to pay attention to the wait time. Okay, guys, again, I love you. Have a great week. Bye.